Hi everyone, and welcome to today's YouTube guitar lesson called One Melodic Minor Shape Every Guitarist Should Know. Now, I'm aware that's a bit of a provocative kind of a title, but I believe that within the melodic minor scale there's a really common shape that's frequently used by jazz musicians and jazz guitarists. And I think that if you're interested in the melodic minor scale, this will really help bring out some of them kind of sounds into your guitar playing without necessarily using the full scale. But I'll also be explaining a bit about the scale and how to use that as well. But before I begin doing that, I'd just like to say if you would like to follow along with this lesson using tab and notation, I have an article on my website which is linked to in the description below, and that has all the scales and all the licks we're going to be talking about in full notation and tab, so don't worry about trying to get all the fingerings and stuff from this video. Just go ahead and load that up and you'll be fine. So thank you again for checking out this lesson, and I hope you enjoy the one melodic minor shape that every guitarist should know. So the melodic minor scale is one of the most frequently used scales in jazz improvisation, so it's really important that we know this and we can use it in a musical setting. It's almost the same as a Dorian scale, we've only got one note difference. So if we just play a D Dorian scale, like a D Dorian scale, we have D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And that's what you might use to play over a minor 7 chord, and there's nothing wrong with that chord. Or that scale rather, it's a great scale to use over that, and there's a lot of vocabulary that we can gain from it. But if you want a crunchier sound, the melodic minor is a good scale to use for that, because instead of a C, we have a C sharp, one note difference between the two scales. So a full melodic minor scale, we have D, E, F, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And now you can use this to improvise over minor major 7 chords. You know, because it has a major 7 and it's got a minor 3rd, so it works great over that chord, but we can also use it over regular minor 7 chords. Now this can confuse a lot of students at first, and I get a lot of emails from people asking me how to use this over a minor 7 chord, because it does have that C sharp and a minor 7 chord. It has a flat 7, so it can sound quite jarring or quite strange and quite dissonant at first if we don't know how to use it in a musical way. And one way that I like to use it, which is common practice, you know, by other jazz musicians, is to use it on the end of a beat, on a weaker beat. Use it as like a passing tone. So just to give you an example, that if I just play a line, I'll use the melodic minor scale in this position. If I start the line on the end of 4 with a C sharp, the melodic minor note, then it should sound okay. So a 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you can hear there, it gives the line a nice bouncy syncopated feel. Starting on the end of 4, it really works quite nicely for that, and I did use a C there as well. But you know, that's one way that I like to use a melodic minor, or you know, just basically the raised 7th over a minor 7 chord, is to start on the end of 4. It gives it a really nice bouncy flavour when you do that. Quite often in jazz music we only have 1 or 2 bars of one chord, so we need to be able to define it quite quickly. And as good as the melodic minor scale is, there's quite a lot of notes, so it can be quite bulky when we need to access a sound quickly. So one trick that I like to use to get the sound of melodic minor is to use an augmented triad. And in the case of D minor, the augmented triad I would use is an F augmented triad. F, A, C sharp. And that works really well because we have the F and the C sharp, you know, like the sort of the guide tones that define that sound. And that can sound really nice when you start to voice lead it with other augmented triads and things like that. But to extend that shape further, if we add an E on top of that, like the major 7th of the F augmented triad, that sounds really melodic minor, and that's a really cool sound to use. And that is what I call the one melodic minor shape that every jazz guitarist should know, because it's used so often by jazz musicians and jazz guitarists. And you know, if you play that shape, that sounds much more melodic minor to me than. So in a live setting I probably would gravitate more towards using these arpeggios rather than the full melodic minor scale, just because you can get the sound so much quicker. Like anything on the guitar, they're worth taking all of the neck just so you've got them accessible and playing them in different keys. One position I like to use for this shape is up on the top 3 strings here, F, A, C sharp, E, and that's really commonly used by guitarists because it cuts through quite well right up on the top strings. I'm sure that's a sound that you've all heard before. So they're worth, taking into your practice room and exploring them over tunes. I think it's definitely better to try and explore them over a static chord situation at first, just so you can get used to them, and then take them into over a full progression that you're working over, a standard that you're working on or something like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's been some use to you in sort of demystifying the melodic minor sounds a bit. If you did enjoy it, please give it a like, and if you subscribe to this channel there'll be plenty more jazz and blues guitar lessons. So thanks again for checking this video out, and I'll see you in the next lesson.